I love having an only child, and I wish more people talked about all of the positives of only children. I feel like the conversation around only children is always so negative. But the truth is, if you're someone who cares about the sexist division of labor in the home, having an only child really makes a difference there. A family therapist I knew told me that once a woman has a second child, if she's partnered with a man, the amount of domestic work and childcare she does just exponentially increases. Like it completely shifts the dynamic in the home. I also really love that I can give all of my attention and time to my daughter. I love that it's not split. I love that I can be devoted entirely to her. It's a fantastic, like, very special relationship. And if you ask my daughter if she would prefer to have a sibling, like, she will tell you straight up, no, she likes being an only. Obviously, every family size is valid and terrific. I just wish people would talk about only children in a more positive light.
I've expressed before how I've had some regrets about having only one, and yet at the time, first of all, it took me so long to even decide if I wanted a child. I was initially like you, wasn't sure I was interested in kids, loved my life, loved my freedoms.
Exactly.
Then thought like, well, maybe I'll regret it if I don't even try. So tried, it happened. And then for years, there were so many people who came on this show who I would speak to in passing who would say, don't just stop at one, don't just stop at one. I'd be like, screw off. Like, why are you trying to get in my, womb?
Get out of my uterus.
I'm fine. I'm happy. Jason's an only child. Like all these myths around the only child. But it's like, forget it. And yet now, fast forward during the pandemic, I started to have this, oh my God, I only had one.
Hi ladies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, my name is Miss Kafue. So ladies, are you one and done? Personally, I'm one, but I'm not sure whether I'm done. What do you think about being one and done? Are you one and done? What is your experience? Please leave a comment down in the comment section below. And ladies, if you're watching this channel for the first time, please subscribe to this channel. Please like this video, and let's jump right into this video, and then I'll be back to give my take on it.
So I'm an only child. And my mother said when she had me, she didn't feel like she could have no more kids because she didn't have the temperament to raise multiple children. And I was a very well-behaved child. So I don't even know what she would have done if I gave a little bit of trouble. And then I went and had one child. But when I had one child, I thought I was going to have multiple because I swore me and my son's father were going to get married. I didn't realize at that time, because I've only seen marriage in life, that people can separate and grow apart and people cannot grow people, right? So I didn't know that. So I said, when me and my son's father separated, I'm not having any more kids out of wedlock. I never got married, so I didn't have any more children. I thought that was the main reason I didn't have any more children, which it is a big reason. But another reason is I know I am not set up to have multiple kids. I have said this before and I will say it again. My son has been a pleasure to raise since he was a baby up until now, 14 years later. It's like God handcrafted him for me. Like, Nicole, here's your kid. He's going to be a perfect child for you to raise, right? So naturally, I really favor him. I have fear that if I were to have more children, then I would not know how to treat them equally to my son because of how much I favor him. Now, I could be wrong. I could have another kid and I would still do it equally, but I'm not sure. And because I'm not sure, that is extra reason for me not to bear any more children. Because why would I want to bring a child into this world when I don't know if I'm going to treat them differently from their brother or not? When you decide to be more self-aware and act on your self-awareness, you'll stop messing up your life and the lives of other people. Be safe.
I would advocate having only one child as an adult who doesn't have children and has witnessed the difference in the lives between my friends who have one child and my friends who have more than one child.
Right. So you're saying not as an only child you recommended, but as like adults who have one kid and it's just fucking easier.
Yeah, like my friend once said, having a second kid is like you're drowning and someone throws you a baby.
A lot of people are very shocked when they find out that we're only having 2 kids and that we are done after this baby comes out. And I get hit with the question, well, why? You guys are so young. Why wouldn't you want to have more kids? Recently, I have come to the agreement that 2 kids is a good number for us. To have 2 kids, we're not outnumbered. So essentially, we can have like the buddy system, one parent with each kid. So if both kids are in sports or they're in academics or anything like that, then each parent can go to said game if they're at the same time. The question, do we want to try to have a girls since we're having 2 boys? Honestly, the answer is no. 2 kids is good enough for us. Same time, the chances of us having another boy are 70 and 30% since we already have 2 boys. We have been talking about what kind of birth control we're gonna do after this next baby comes out and everything is good. I promised myself that I would never get on birth control ever again because it messed with my hormones. It made me so moody. It made me depressed. It made me gain weight. I got acne, and I was just not the best version of myself that I could be. We've decided that when I'm 3 months postpartum, we're going to schedule Reese an appointment for a vasectomy. He is actually the one that wanted to get fixed over me because it is so much easier for men to go get fixed, and also it's reversible. And for women, the procedure is so much more complicated, so much more dangerous. It just puts me at risk. So Reese is voluntarily going and getting a vasectomy, which I'm so thankful for. But yeah, after this baby comes out and is healthy and good, we are done after 2.
All right, moms of only children. Okay, I want to know if you struggle with this too, or if I'm the only one that suffers from extreme mom guilt because I only have 1 child. So I have a daughter, 3 years old, and I feel like my window of giving her a sibling is, obviously I can give her a sibling whenever if I so choose, but like the gap of them being close in age is just getting further and further apart. And I am in no, by any means am I ready to have another kid. Mentally, financially, I'm just not in a position to give her a sibling as bad as I want to. And I just have so much guilt because I'm like, who is this girl gonna grow up with? You know, like, who is she gonna play with? As she gets older, who is she gonna play with? Who is she gonna go through life with? And it's just something I struggle with every day, almost thinking about giving. And I know I shouldn't beat myself up about it because I'm literally doing the best that I can. And if I added another kid in the mix, I would really be struggling. And I'm struggling with 1. But, you know, the guilt is real. And I'm like, am I being selfish by not giving her a sibling? Like, how is that going to affect her into her adulthood? Any other moms going through this? Or is it just me? I feel like being a mom, you're just always feeling guilty about something. It's just like so hard.
Okay, can we normalize just wanting 1 kid? Because I don't want any more. And people look at me like I'm literally crazy when I say this, but I legitimately only want 1 kid. Like, I'm one and done. People are like, you're still young, like you have time to think about it, you might change your mind. Like, no, I'm good. I've done what I've done. My son is 3 years old and I am exhausted. This job, being a mom, is like no fucking joke. It's not for the weak. Like, I'm good with 1. And mentally, like, I don't know if I could handle it again, to be honest with you. It's a lot to take on. And I feel like stay-at-home moms and being a mom in general is just so slept on, where people think it's so easy, but you literally do not have a break until they go to bed. Like, I'm sorry, but I am one and done. Please stop fucking asking me if I want more, because the answer is no.
I was one of those that romanticized having a baby. I told myself, it'll bring me and my husband closer. We'll have our own little version of ourselves. I'd be such a great mom. They'd have his eyes and they'd get my hair and they'd just be so freaking cute. Not only did I romanticize having a child, but I was set on having multiple. Having a large family with someone I loved just seemed so natural to me. Like, it was a part of my identity as a woman, as a wife. Now, at 20 months postpartum, I have a very different idea on kids. I used to think everyone was a Debbie Downer, like, oh, once you have kids, that's it. Or travel now, because once you have kids, your life is over. I thought it was bullshit. Like, no way. I'm not going to be that mom who stops her life after kids. I'm going to keep on traveling. I'm going to keep doing what I want. I'm going to keep on working and progressing my career and moving up the corporate ladder. And while all of these things are certainly true, and tons of women every day are crushing their dreams, even with kids, what I failed to realize before becoming a mom was, yes, it's all possible, but it's also so incredibly hard. I had no fucking clue. No idea just how much of my life would change. How grossly I underestimated the effort, blood, sweat, tears, exhaustion of having a baby and going through postpartum. I had no clue how important a support system would be, how important childcare would be if a woman is trying to maintain her career. The toll that having a child takes on a woman's time, finances, and energy. Yes, I could have planned better, but when you're like me and you've been conditioned by society to want to be a mom because it's a woman's role to be maternal and loving, or you've internalized the idea that having a child with someone is the ultimate form of love, then yes, that first child becomes your reality check. I love my daughter. I love being her mom. Not a day goes by where I don't realize how blessed I am. How children are a dream for so many, and what an emotional roller coaster trying to get pregnant, and in my case, after a loss, can be. But my life has also gotten harder in so many ways. After having to quit my job shortly after mat leave because I got so incredibly ill from the stress, I was unemployed for 7 months and my savings tanked. So I lost my job. I lost my money. I lost my marriage. I lost my independence. Right now, I'm with my parents until I'm in a better financial position. And while I'm employed now, more than half of my paycheck goes to childcare. And whatever remains covers my daughter's living expenses. And I'm still paying off the hospital bill for her delivery on top of other debt. My days are very lonely. From 5 to 8, I care for Aya. From 8 to 6 p.m., I work my day job so I can afford her living expenses. And then from 6 until bedtime, it's just me and Aya again. Tried the online dating thing, don't have time for it. Wish I could socialize and go out more, but I don't have a car and I don't have childcare on those weekends that I just want to be alone. Wish I could travel more, but the idea of tanking my finances again just to haul around a stroller, car seat, carrier, toys, my suitcase, all by myself, makes staying home much more preferable. Some of you may say I'm making excuses, that I can still go out, that I can still have fun, that I can still have adventures. And to those people, I say, you try doing that with your kid or kids completely on your own, with no assistance and very limited finances, and you tell me if that's still fun. To my earlier point, a free, independent life is possible with kids, but the footnote here is if you have support. And if you don't, and you're a single mom like me, then in a way, yes, your life does temporarily stop. As it should, because your child has to become the top priority. Their needs now surpass your own. Their livelihood now surpasses your desires. This is not a rant against motherhood. This is not a dig against people who can afford round-the-clock childcare, or have supportive partners, or have multiple kids. All the power to them. This is me, I guess, speaking to all the wannabe moms out there. I get it. I get the desire around wanting to be a mom. I get wanting to start a family with someone you love. But our world, our economy is so incredibly different now. And our culture around working moms and providing them support is so incredibly unforgiving. Regardless if you agree with anything I've said so far, I think we can all agree that our children deserve the best, most loving, most nurturing, most stable households to grow up in and thrive in. And if you have even a sliver of a doubt that you can provide exactly that for any child you will bring into this world, then don't have kids. If you are in a culture and community where birth control is accessible, if you are in a position to educate your daughters and sons around the seriousness of having kids, then take all precautionary measures. As much as the woman's life becomes difficult, what we should really care about as a society is the quality of life that we provide to our kids after bringing them into this world. And having had my first child now and experiencing firsthand all the struggles I just talked about earlier, I can confidently say, whoever I choose to have my next child with, if at all, my list of requirements for that person and for our relationship is 10 miles long. 25-year-old me did not know any of these things. And 31-year-old me now can confidently say that if my daughter ends up being the only child that I have in this life, that's okay. That's great. That's fantastic. And what a wonderful feeling to know I did everything in my power to provide her the best life possible by focusing on her and her quality of life rather than society's expectation for women to be baby-making machines. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Okay, so to all my fellow mothers that are part of the one and done crew, why do you guys feel that way? So I have one child and she's going to be 7 in June, and I've stood pretty strong on, not slipping up and having another baby. Growing up and when I was younger, I always said I wanted to have like 3 or 4 kids, but I don't necessarily know if I feel that way anymore, and sometimes I feel really terrible about that. It's like I want to give my daughter siblings and my future husband kids, but if I'm being honest with myself, I don't know if I want that for me. Kids are a lot of work, and I feel like for me and my lifestyle, one child is very manageable. Not to mention I gained 70 pounds when I was pregnant, and I look pretty damn good now. I worked hard to look the way I do, and I just know having more kids is gonna ruin that. And I know that might sound pretty selfish, but that's not the only reason why I don't know if I want more kids. Kids are definitely a blessing, but they are a lot of work, emotionally, mentally, financially, especially if you really want to give them a good life. And even when I have a partner in the future, and if I was to give him more kids, it ain't no guarantee if he gonna stay there, and then what's gonna happen? I'm a single mom of multiple kids. I don't want to take that chance. Sometimes I wonder if it's going to be hard for me, to date seriously if I don't want to have more kids, because I know a lot of men that get married want kids. And I feel like that might be an issue I run into, but it's like I'm being honest with myself, and I don't know if I want that for me. So I don't know who else feels like this.
So I've seen this talk a lot recently on TikTok, and I want to say I completely agree. I am a mother of 3. I have a 13-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 2-year-old, and life was easy, breezy, beautiful, cover girl when I just had my daughter. And most of the comments in that video are, that's great and all, but from a child's point of view, nothing is going to assure you that if you have another child, that those children are even going to like each other when they grow up. Especially with all the talk about setting boundaries with your family, in relationships, and the importance of mental health, and how so many people are breaking away from relationships with their family members for their mental health. This is a huge thing. I am Mexican American. My grandmother had 9 children. 6 boys, 2 girls, 1 passed away. The 6 boys can't stand each other. The only union that is healthy in that whole relationship are the 2 sisters. The fucking odds, right? She had 8 children, 8 living children. You would have thought it would have been okay. Nope. Because you don't get to dictate personality. You don't get to dictate their future. You don't get to dictate. What if one child goes into drugs and the other one is really just trying to live their best life? You can't. And this is a very healthy thing for people to start saying, for mothers to start saying, that motherhood is fucking hard, because that was never taught to me. I was always taught to learn how to cook and clean, because one day you're gonna have kids and you're gonna have to make a man happy. I was never taught cook and clean so you can survive, because you deserve to eat the delicious meals that you cook with your hands, because you deserve a clean space. It was always for other people. And it's very responsible of her to be like, you know what? I'm already spread thin. I don't want to bring another child into this world if I know I can't give it my all. It's not selfish. It's very self-aware and very responsible. And it's really pissing people off. And I don't know why. Because as a mother of 3, if I could go back, I probably just would have had my daughter. I love my children. But it is really hard, especially because I have a child that is 3 years old and he has special needs. We went from a 2-income household to a 1-income household. These were things that we weren't expecting, we weren't ready for. Yeah. So if you're a mom out here on TikTok and you're talking about the nitty gritty, the truth, keep speaking it. It makes people uncomfortable because it almost makes you look into your life and be like, damn, you're right. But I don't want to say it, because if I say it, it means I don't love my children, and that is not true at all. What we really need to be teaching is teaching our daughters, hey, you can be very happy. You must make yourself happy first. You must be happy with yourself first before anybody else can make you happy. That's what we are trying to do. That's what we need to keep doing for our children.
One child is okay. We're very happy. Seeing our friends and family members have 2 or 3 or even 4 kids, which is crazy.
It's a lot.
And we see some of our friends doing amazing job. And I say some because some are struggling and they can't believe that they had so many kids and now their life is tough. There's a lot of sacrifice and also giving up your time, right? You can't just say like, oh, it doesn't really matter, we love our kids, so you know, it's like, it's not like that, you know. It's like struggle is real, and raising one human being was tough.
I really feel for moms that are one and done. You cannot have a single opinion as a first-time mom without someone with 4 kids being like, well, as a mom of 4, I thought that at first too, but after a couple. Some people are only ever first-time moms, and constantly invalidating their opinions and how they plan to raise their child because they don't have a whole hockey team yet. How they want to raise their child is still valid. I voiced that I don't give my infant sugar, because why does a 7-8-month-old need sugar? They don't. And that's from my background working in health, wellness, nutrition. I don't care if you give your kid sugar. But when I say that and immediately I'm hit with mom of 3, mom of 5, I thought that too. Now, but like lecturing me, life's too short. Why do you care? You don't get to lecture me because I'm a first-time mom, because guess what? I'm probably only ever going to be a first-time mom. So I never get to have an opinion about anything because of that. It's just like being always made to feel like your opinions are silly or not as much of a mom because you don't have a whole gaggle of kids is so weird. Like, you know so much more than me because you have 5 kids. I can't have any passionate stance on how I raise mine. What? So if you're a one and done mom, I feel for you because it's a little crazy.
One and done has never appealed to me until this trip. Like, it's so manageable when you just have one. Beyond manageable. And so fun. And like, our relationship is so special. And I just keep thinking about like, what if I had 3 kids? But people say that love multiplies. It doesn't divide. But I'm just like really seeing the benefits of being one and done right now.
This video is for parents that have only one child, for my one and dones, right? If you have more than one child, feel free to comment your opinions below. It is not selfish for you to not want to have more children. You're gonna get comments, and that's expected. What I didn't realize is that a lot of those comments make you as a parent feel like you're doing your child a disservice by not providing them a sibling. It's like you are damning them to a life of solitude. And the kicker is, let's say you're contemplating having a second child. Heaven forbid there is a large age gap. And when I mean large, I mean like more than 3 years. Because apparently if you have a 4, 5, 6 year age gap, like those kids are just not gonna get along. Like, you just had a second child for nothing because they're not gonna be able to be your first child's playmate. Which doesn't make sense because I know people that have 3 or more kids and there's like a 5, 6 year age gap and they all get along wonderfully. And I think my point is that no matter your decision, it's gonna be wrong. It's gonna be wrong in the eyes of people who just don't get it. Either way, that decision to have none, one, or more is between you and your partner. That's it. Everybody else can kick rocks.
Let me tell you what goes through my mind when people tell me they have children and how many. If you have one child, I'm thinking you're one and done. You really didn't care to be a parent too much. Maybe you tried your hand at it and were like, this is not for me. It's ghetto. It's expensive. There are a ton of things that could probably be going through your mind. This child is probably now your best friend. You make sure you guys dress alike. You really emphasize that they're in every single part of your life. And that's great. Maybe you even got your child an animal so that they could love because you're not giving them another sibling. And I'm not talking about the people who are teen parents, but also there may be people who have chosen their career first and then had a child later on in life. And this is the only child that you're able to have.
There's this trend going around where people talk about why they're one and done. Let me tell you why I'm one and done. I see this room. Messiest room in my house. Gives me anxiety. I never knew real anxiety until I had a baby. Though pregnancy and delivery was really easy, postpartum was not. It took me months before I could leave my house. My body bounced back. My body yet still doesn't feel like it used to. Let me show you the next reason. She don't even want me to do her hair. We just got back from Puerto Rico last night, and let me tell you, it was the easiest thing ever. If I have another kid, we are not taking flights. Pay 2 seats, 3 seats? No. I feel like if I just have one kid, I'm able to give her the world. I'll be able to, hey. Anyway, I feel like I'll be able to buy her car at 16 and do all this other stuff. Yes, I can work harder when I have other kids, but like, can I really work that much harder? Call me taboo, but I don't want to deal with the arguments. I had sisters growing up. leave me out of it. Having just one, I feel like I'm gonna be able to give her my undivided attention and she won't have to fight for it. Another reason, I'm tired. I was tired with the newborn stage. I'm tired with the toddler stage. I went in thinking that I have this village. There is no village. I feel like once you're a mom, that's it for the rest of your life. I mean, you're constantly always gonna be worried. My mom still worries about me now. My grandma still worries about my mom. I can't have that stress level. We're done. No mas.
I seen a video on here by this lady talking about why she is one and done, and I couldn't stitch it, so I'm gonna tag her below so you can watch her video because it was really nice. But I want to add on to this because I am also one and done, and if you see my other video I made where I was telling women like to kind of take their time with having children, but this one is going to be about why I'm one and done. Having one fucking kid, and I have a 9-year-old, okay? I'm at the easy part. But it is so easy to have one child. Like, whether you make a lot of money or a little bit of money, caring for one child is fucking easy. Like, I don't have to worry about strollers anymore, diapers. I don't have to worry about like struggling to find a sitter because he's 9 years old. So he has friends' houses he can go to. Everybody wants to watch him like it's just him. Times when I wasn't making as much money in life, it really didn't affect my child too much because I only had one kid. So like, let's say I was like down on my luck and I wanted to take us out, I could go get one meal and split it between my one child, like me and him, like, and it would have been okay. There was also a point in my life because I was a single mom that I couldn't afford a 2-bedroom and I had to get a 1-bedroom. And I remember thinking like, I'm so lucky to have one child, because what I ended up doing in that situation is I gave him the bedroom and I slept on the couch. But like, if I had 2 kids or 3 kids, like, I wouldn't be able to do that. I would always kind of have to have a bigger space. And no shade to you if you do have multiple kids and you have a 1-bedroom, because I know as a mom, we're gonna do what we gotta do. People always be like, oh, you don't want to give him siblings, you don't feel bad that he doesn't have siblings. No, because I was an only child up until I was 15 years old, and I love my siblings. I hope they don't see this, but I really liked being an only child better. Like, an only child is fucking spoiled, period. An only child, being an only child is nice. I don't give a fuck about, I don't want to share nothing with anybody. I don't want to split my parents and my resources. Like, I really don't. Plus, his dad has had 4 more kids, so he got other siblings over there. I don't gotta have them. And I have a lot of nieces, nephews. My mom actually had a lot of more kids later on in life, so he has a bunch of uncles and aunties that's really like cousins, so he'll be fine. But I love having one child. Like, it is so fucking easy. Like, it was hard in the beginning because babies are hard, but the older that he gets, like, having one child is fucking great. I spoil the fuck out of him, and I'm able to because I only got one. I also struggle with the fact of knowing that I had my first child with the person who I would never give another child to, and it does really scare me that if I had another child and that father was just this great, amazing father, how that might make my son feel. And again, I know this personally because all of my siblings' dads, other than mine, they're great dads. And that shit did kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. And, you know, not that it's their fault or anything, but it's hard watching your siblings have like such a great dad, and their dads, you know, call me daughter and they treat me the same, but at the end of the day, I'm not really their daughter. So it'll never feel like that. And I wouldn't want my son to feel like that either, because I know how it feels. When I had my son, I also gained a lot of weight. I was 140 pounds before I had my son. After I had him, I was 230 pounds. I do not ever want to go through that kind of big body change ever again in life. I'm sorry. Like, I've even thought about, like, if I ever did have another kid, maybe in years, I'm going to have to adopt, because a baby coming out of this body after I done lost all that weight, it's not happening, because clearly my body just gains weight like a fucking whale when I get pregnant. So not doing that again. It's also way easier for me to travel. Like, I've took my son so many places. He's been to Hawaii, he has been to Vegas, he's been to both Disneyland parks in LA and in Florida. He has been to New York. He has been to Miami. Like, he has been really a lot of places. And when I used to be booking these trips and like even paying to get into amusement parks and things, like I would be like, damn, I'm glad I got one kid, because that shit's expensive. Like, I couldn't imagine paying for 3 and 4 plane tickets and 3 and 4 Disney tickets. Like, my kids might not have never went if I had more kids, especially with the way inflation is now. And also becoming a mom, I realized as much as I love my son, I do not enjoy, I don't want to sound bad, but being a mom is really not for me. Like, I don't see myself being a mom of 4 and 5 kids, because motherhood just did not really do it for me. Like, it just didn't do it for me. Like, I'm hella unserious. I play too motherfucking much, and I'm selfish. I was an only child and I liked it. Okay, I liked it. Like, when National Siblings Day come around, it's always a big joke in the family, because I'd be like, I don't celebrate because I'm not happy to have siblings. Like, I wish she would have stopped. Don't eat me up too much on here, y'all. I'm just being honest, as I always am. And yeah, those are the reasons why I'm one and done, and can't nobody shame me, make me feel bad, or coerce me into having any more kids any fucking time soon.
Ladies, how are you? Did you enjoy the video? So I'm back to give my take on this video. So do you agree that there's guilt that comes to it when your child doesn't have a sibling, especially when they're the only ones in their friend group who doesn't have a sibling, and they're questioning you why? Me personally, my child asked me why I buy everything else except for a sibling. Okay, for him, he believes that children are bought. He doesn't really quite understand the logic yet. But so he keeps asking me, why when you get money, you always buy everything for me, but a sibling? Why? Me, I want siblings. He keeps telling me that. And there's a guilt that comes with that. And there's also a guilt that comes with the fact that when you have more children, he doesn't understand, but you know, it might even limit the experiences you have with your first child. I don't know. I'm sure I can love another child just the way I love this first child, but you're worried. You're worried you should ruin your body. You're worried about all these things. You're worried maybe you won't be able to divide your attention enough. You're worried that, and another thing, let me tell you, another thing is that never have another child for the sake of for your first child to have a sibling and a friend. Let me tell you, we have siblings who don't get along. For example, for me and my sister, we really don't get along. We don't get along at all. So, Ebo, imagine you had children so that they can keep each other company and be best friends, and so that your child cannot go through life alone, so that they cannot live in solitude. And then they get this sibling who they don't even go along. But I don't know why. I think when they're only 2, they get along. Or am I wrong? Or I don't know. What do I know? But me and my sister, even to this day, even as adults, we really don't get along. Oh my God, it's crazy. We don't get along. But I think it's because we are very close in age. So everyone feels like they're the one who should be listened to. Anyway, let me tell you, if you know that you can't give your best to that second child, if you know that you don't really enjoy motherhood, you're only having this child because people are questioning you, or because you don't want your first child to grow up alone, let me tell you, don't have that child. And then another thing is that sometimes we worry that, for me right now, my child is turning 6 this year. So if I have another child, before they get to the age whereby they can play together, I don't know how old he'll be. And that worries me too. And one child is so manageable, because even me with my son, we've taken trips, we've visited places, and it's so manageable paying for one. So when I'm paying for these things, I always ask myself, what if I had 3? You mean this amount will be times 3? And that really worries me, and that really makes me feel like I'm so fortunate to only have one kid and not many. I don't know about you, but that makes me feel very fortunate about it. Anyway, ladies, what do you think about being a mom of one and done? Me personally, I've always been one and done, but I'm really not sure. Like I said, I'd really have to have like 2 kids. So what do you think about it? Are you a mom of one and done? Are you enjoying your experience? What do you think about it? Why did you have kids? Did you have kids? Why are you not having more kids? Are you just enjoying your one child? Are you just in this space whereby you had a child but you realized it's not what you thought it was, so you're not having any more kids? What is it? I'd love to know down in the comment section below. So ladies, if you watch this video, please subscribe to this channel if you're not subscribed. Please share this video to whoever may need it, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye.